Hey, this is Matt. Welcome back to the video, everybody, where I'd like to share with you an amazing hair transformation of one of my clients who I was helping with and sharing with him a step-by-step process towards getting the best hair transplant result and avoiding all the pitfalls along the way that make many guys choose a bad clinic and even regret their hair transplant. We are going to be sharing with you how we did it with him and why he was able to achieve a great result and all the details and interesting info around it. So make sure you stay tuned. And as always, before we start, shout out to our sponsor GoFiber. These are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice and try them out, see if you like them.
What I felt like I lacked confidence about, myself physically. I didn't like to see myself in the mirror or what I see in the mirror. I felt I looked like, older than my age. Now it's like, obviously, I feel I gain my confidence. I become more active. I'm taking care of myself. I'm more comfortable around my peers and colleagues.
By comfortable, you mean you're able to be more outgoing, to be more extroverted? What exactly do you mean by more comfortable in the social environment?
And I feel comfortable. At least I have my hair, my hairs and my beard, and it make me a fuller look or a younger, I'm not gonna say okay, good looking guy, but I would say average.
Definitely better than average. Let's not lie. How old were you actually before you got your surgery? So the guys will also get a kind of a picture. And how old did you feel?
So before my hair transplant, I was 33 years old, but I used to look like somewhere between, let's say, late 30s,
Mm,
because obviously I had a big crown.
mm.
My whole hairline was missing, and every day I'm seeing like it's getting worse. And now I would say, okay, I'm 34, but probably I look a little younger than that.
You started considering your hair transplant based on, I guess, doing some research on YouTube, online, talking to maybe some people who had also issues with hair loss, and then you decided that probably hair transplant will be the solution for you. So, what were like your concerns and fears that you maybe had before?
The one of the main was, the whole process of getting a hair transplant from A to Z. Doubts of like if I'm, making the right choice, to going to a different country and getting the procedure done by a reputed doctor or clinics, because in Turkey, as you know, there's thousands of options, different clinics, different doctors, different offerings. So that was one of the concern. And after the procedure, I fear that not getting the end result as expected. Obviously, everyone does hair transplant, and when you look at someone who does or who did a hair transplant, you can say it, right? You already know it. Okay, this person does the hair transplant. So, because of the angles and because of the way they perform the procedure, there is, you know what I mean? Because obviously, you saw a lot of hair transplant. You consulted with a lot of clients, so you know what I mean.
You see the frame in the hairline, but it's not so dense as it naturally maybe should have been, right? And this is exactly the how you can pretty much detect it.
So I gave this one a name. I call it Clash of Clan,
Mhm.
where they put something like wall in the front and the side, and the middle there is no balance, like there's no blend. So anyone can see you and they will be like, oh, you have a like borderline in the front and on the side, but you don't have that much of hair in your upper side of your head. So
Your worries or maybe concerns were mainly like detectable result that people will notice and have that imbalance where the hairline is super thick and dense, as we see it from some Turkish clinics nowadays. They like to attract patients with that super dense looking wall of hair, and then behind it's super out of balance because there is so much density missing. What made you finally do that decision in that pool of confusion around all these choices and all that?
only reason I made my decision or finalize my trip is after my consultation with you, and which really really helped me make my final decisions. Like, we had a session, we discussed about a lot of concerns, and the way you break it down, the way you explain the procedure and what kind of expectation I should have, that really really helped me make my decision. You made me understand what amount of or what type of expectation I should have.
Mm.
because you already have my, previous pictures,
Yeah.
right? We had a video conversation, and then we went through all the process. So you helped me, set the right expectation, instead of, okay, because when you reach out to a, Turkish clinic or, a consultant, they will be like, okay, we're going to take out 5,000 grafts or 6,000 grafts, and we'll put it. But how are you doing it? What's the procedure? All that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
because you are just saying it, and I'm not seeing a result, because there's other people's online who did the same procedure.
Mm.
They went to those type of clinics. They have high expectation, but at the end, the expectation doesn't met what they have, an expectation before the getting the procedures.
You also could have done your whole research and decision phase on your own. Why do you think it's important to consult somebody before doing a decision like a hair transplant? Somebody who is an expert in this field, as opposed to just, booking a surgery with a clinic that you feel you like it, you like the result, and you just spontaneously go there. So, what do you think? Why it's important to consult?
The amount of information and the amount of contents available online, that's going to drive you crazy. And obviously, I'm not going to say um, you are going to be expert in one procedure, or you're going to be expert in a two procedure, but there's so many other related stuff need to consider.
Mm.
Like, obviously, someone is doing a full-time research on, what's best procedure, which is the best facilities, and obviously keeping in mind, like, from the financial perspective, right? And the end result and the expectation and that sort of stuff. So definitely, I feel like, it's for someone who want to get their hair transplant done, instead of wasting their time looking for the stuff. Okay, yeah, definitely you should do your own research. You just don't want to jump into something you don't know, right?
Mm.
You want to do your own research, you want to gather information, as much as you can, and then definitely you're going to have tons of questions, which you can find in the internet. Like, people are actually addressing those concerns.
Mm.
They're giving you the right advice, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I think it's really, really worth it to, find someone like you and schedule a time, and then talk that through and put everything to bed, and have a good understanding before they jump into something. I made the right choice consulting with you before making a commitment, obviously. And I'm really happy with the results so far. I become really overwhelmed with the amount of information, that I was found online. I wanted my procedure, done by a well-known surgeon instead of the technician. And you are more aware of that, like most of the Turkish facilities. If you go their website, you're gonna see, this doctor perform, thousands, 10,000s of procedure in maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But how that's possible? One doctor, if a doctor dedicatedly perform a procedure, he can maximum perform maybe one, or maybe two, or one and a half, right, in a day.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff, which really, really drive me crazy. And I was really confused what I should do. And when I reached out to a couple of clinics, I feel like, they're just trying to get my money, instead of, giving me the service that I needed, giving me unrealistic, per number, or, per number of grafts, the code that they provided. They were pushing me to, make a deposit and, book the spot and that sort of stuff. I reached out to one of the clinic, and then for somehow they distributed my contact details into different clinics, and they all started to reaching out to me. I don't want to mention the name of the clinic, but
Yeah.
it appeared that it's a legit clinic,
Yeah.
or maybe a college,
Yeah.
where actually a couple of my friends did their procedure. They
Okay.
also recommended me, okay,
Ah.
maybe you guys can, contact them, and they will, be able to answer your questions, and that sort of stuff. That was frustrated me. I was like, okay,
Mm.
at some point I was like, no, I think I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I think I did. I mentioned to you or not, but at some point I go bold. I shaved
Mm.
off my hair. I stayed, maybe a couple months, like, just to see myself,
Yeah.
how it's different. Because if I'm thinking about not getting my hair transplant, then there's one option: I go bold,
Mm.
right? And then,
Yeah.
just stay same for the rest of my life. And then definitely I wasn't satisfied with that.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, that was like when I shaved my head for the first time. Then I went exactly on such a website when they compared these celebrities, and I was like, okay, this is the Rock, and I'm like, no, Vin Diesel, no. Then I'm like the Jason Statham, and I'm like Mirror, no. And then I'm just like, okay, probably not gonna work like this. So it was, you say that it was worth it for you to, fly overseas and organize all that in return of, saving some money in another country for that surgery, but still getting really good quality. So you say it was worth the travel and all that.
Yeah, every single penny. Like if I tell you now, maybe you'll be like, okay, maybe you're telling me the truth. But if I go somewhere, people doesn't even notice that I did my hair transplant. Even though my friends,
Mm,
those who already saw me without my hairs, right?
yeah.
And they're like, if I don't tell them, like obviously, there's a time gaps missing because I was pretty much disappear for maybe 3-4 months
Hmm.
while whole recovery period. So when my friend sees me, they're like, we don't see that much of difference, but definitely they don't realize that okay, I get my hair transplant until I tell them, and they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh man, holy shit, that's like natural, But those friends already they have their hair transplant done, but definitely it wasn't the result they were expecting. So
Yeah.
they asked me the question like how I made my decisions, the whole process and procedure, who did I consulted with. Obviously you mentioned you are open to provide consultation, so I looked into your website. I went through a couple of other videos you have on the side, what other people said about you and all that, and that make me feel a little comfortable, like maybe you are going to be a very good person who can explain me the whole process, and what expectation I should have,
Mm,
like, and also in terms of finance and in terms of the results.
mhm.
And then obviously you are open to provide your opinion and
Yeah.
schedule a consultation. So that's when I was like, okay, I think I want to go for that because I think you have that experience that can help me understand and make my final decisions. I went ahead and I was like, okay, let's just book it and then let's look forward to it. Definitely consulting with you help me understand the full process from A to Z, since obviously you had multiple hair transplant experience, right?
Yeah.
Also you explain like the difference, budget facilities, and what they can offer based on the price. Obviously post surgery we communicated via mail a few times, right? I had some questions and you helped me understand, go through all of those queries, and that was really awesome, and it was helpful.
Also, maybe you can also mention how, in case you tracked your hair loss over the last 9 months, how, because you got a surgery on the crown and front. So how was the hair loss on the mid scalp? Did you feel like you have been losing more hair from there over the last year, or not so much?
After the procedure, and having that medication, whatever I'm using, I feel like I'm not getting that much of hair loss now in the top of my hair. My hair is obviously changing, like if it's a little thinner hair, when I use my medication it falls, but it's growing again. It's not like it's falling and then this is disappear, but I
Yeah.
don't think I'm seeing anything like that anymore.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Like even right, like if it's a falling hair, it's growing, but it's growing more thicker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing I'm seeing right now.
Alright everybody, that was it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. For more testimonials, check out my website mattdominance.com/mentoring, and also this interview, which is another client I have already helped and interviewed last year. Check out his results, check out how his experience with working with me was and how he got his hair back with my help. For all of you guys who are interested in my one-on-one help, there's a link in the pinned comment section which can lead you to my website where you can get on a one-on-one call with me and book it, and then I will reach out to you personally within 24 hours and schedule a time and date which is going to be best for both of us, where I can start helping you out step by step towards the best result with your hair. All right, looking forward to helping you out, everybody who will decide to work with me, and I'm going to be very pleasured to do so. And see you next time in another video, everybody. Take care.